Captain Taman stood at the observation window of the massive space station. His uniform was plain gray, marked only with Earth's simple blue circle symbol. Around him, aliens in colorful robes and shimmering armor walked past without a glance. To them, he was invisible. Just another human. Just another primitive creature barely worth noticing. The station was called Unity Prime. It floated in neutral space, far from any star system. This was where the Galactic Council met. 247 alien species came here to make decisions about the galaxy. Earth was number 248, but Earth did not get to make decisions. Earth could only watch and listen. Taman had been coming here for 12 years. Every month, he brought reports from Earth to the Council. Every month, he waited for hours to be allowed to speak. Sometimes, they let him talk for 2 minutes. Sometimes they ignored him completely. Today felt like an ignoring day. He checked his datapad. Dr. Nari had sent him the latest scientific reports from Earth. Humanity had made breakthroughs in medicine, physics, and engineering. Nari herself had discovered a cure for 3 alien diseases that the Council scientists could not solve. But when Taman submitted the reports, the Council filed them away without reading them. Primitive species often stumble upon simple solutions, they had said. It means nothing. The great chamber doors opened. Taman walked inside with the other observers. The room was enormous, shaped like a bowl with seats rising up in circles. The important species sat at the bottom, close to the speaking floor. Earth's seat was at the very top, in the last row, next to species nobody had heard of. Admiral Yunho was already sitting there. The old man looked tired. He had been Earth's representative for 40 years. 40 years of smiling politely while aliens insulted his species. 40 years of saying, "Yes, we understand, and thank you for your guidance." Taman respected him more than anyone else alive. "Another day in paradise," Yunho whispered as Taman sat down. "Has the agenda been posted?" Taman asked. "Yes. We are item 73. They will discuss grain shipments from the Belos system before they discuss us." Taman nodded. This was normal. Everything was more important than Earth. The session began. A tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms called the meeting to order. This was the Council speaker. She welcomed everyone in a voice that sounded like music. Then, the discussion started. For 3 hours, Taman and Yunho sat quietly. The Council debated trade routes. They argued about mining rights on dead planets. They discussed art festivals and cultural exchanges. Earth was never mentioned in any of these conversations. Humans were never asked for opinions. Earth had resources and technology to offer, but nobody wanted them. Finally, item 73 appeared on the display screens. "The human question," the speaker announced. "The Council will now discuss Earth's status review." Taman felt his heart beat faster. Status review. They had been waiting 5 years for this. If Earth passed the review, they might be upgraded from observer to associate member. Associate members could vote on small matters. They could speak without waiting for permission. It was still not full membership, but it was something. Admiral Yunho stood up. "Honored Council, Earth is grateful for this opportunity. You have not been recognized," the speaker said. "Please sit." Yunho sat down. His hands were shaking. Taman put a hand on the old man's shoulder. A being made of crystalline structures floated to the speaking floor. This was the Vrin Hegemon, leader of one of the oldest Council species. The Vrin had been traveling space for 18,000 years. They considered themselves the wisest species in the galaxy. "The humans have been observers for 73 cycles," the Hegemon said. Its voice sounded like breaking glass. "In this time, they have shown no significant development. Their technology remains crude. Their culture is fractured and violent. They still fight wars among themselves. They pollute their own planet. They have not even colonized their own star system properly." Taman clenched his fists. Mars had 3 million human colonists. Europa had research stations. Humanity had mining operations in the asteroid belt. But the Council did not consider any of this impressive. Another alien stood. This one looked like a floating jellyfish with glowing spots. I have reviewed Earth's genetic structure. They are biologically limited. Short lifespans. Fragile bodies. Their neural capacity is adequate, but unremarkable. I see no evidence of sapience beyond basic tool use. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Several species found this funny. Humans were smart enough to use tools but too stupid to matter. Dr. Nari sent Taman a message on his datapad. They did not even read our submission. I can prove their genetic analysis is wrong. Please let me speak, Taman typed back. They will not listen. Save your energy. More aliens spoke. Each one had reasons why Earth should not be promoted. Humans were too aggressive. Humans were too primitive. Humans bred too quickly. Humans were too emotional. The list went on and on. Admiral Yunho requested permission to speak 7 times. 7 times, he was denied. Finally, the vote happened. Earth's status would remain unchanged. Observer status would continue for another 50 years. At that time, the Council would review again. 50 years. Most of the people on Earth right now would be dead by then. The children being born today would be old before Earth got another chance. As the Council moved to the next item on the agenda, Taman helped Admiral Yunho stand up. The old man looked like he had aged 10 years in the last hour. 73 years, Yunho said quietly. We have done everything they asked. We followed every rule. We gave them everything they wanted. And they still treat us like animals. They walked out of the chamber together. In the hallway, a group of young aliens were laughing. One of them was imitating a human, walking hunched over and dragging his knuckles on the ground like a primitive ape. His friends thought this was hilarious. Taman kept walking. He did not react. Reacting would only make things worse. Back at his ship, the Meridian, Taman sat in his captain's chair. His crew was waiting for him. They had all watched the council session on video. They knew what had happened. Their faces showed the same anger he felt. Captain, his communications officer said, there is a priority message from Earth Command. Quote, put it through. The screen showed a simple text message. It was marked with the highest security classification. Taman read it twice to make sure he understood. The message said, Resolution 4477H has been detected in Council preliminary documents. Return to Earth immediately. This is not a drill. Operation Homecoming is active. Taman felt cold. Operation Homecoming. He had heard whispers about it but never believed it was real. Set course for Earth, he ordered. Maximum speed. Sir, we have not been dismissed by the Council. Leaving without permission will. I said set course for Earth, now. The Meridian's engines powered up. As they prepared to leave, a Council enforcement ship appeared on their sensors. It moved into position ahead of them. They are hailing us, the communications officer said. Ignore it. The enforcement ship fired. A warning shot that passed in front of the Meridian's bow. The message was clear. Stay where you are. Taman smiled for the first time in years. Continue course. They will not fire again. How do you know? Because everything is about to change. The Meridian accelerated past the enforcement ship and jumped into faster-than-light travel. Behind them, Unity Prime grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. Captain Taman sat back in his chair and thought about what was coming. Earth had stayed silent for 73 years. Now the silence was about to end. The galaxy had no idea what was waiting for them. The Meridian traveled through space faster than light. Stars stretched into lines of color outside the windows. Inside the ship, everyone was quiet. They knew something big was happening, but nobody knew exactly what. Captain Taman read the classified files that Earth Command had sent him. Each page made him angrier. Each page also made him understand things he had never known before. Doctor. Nari came to his office. She closed the door behind her. Show me. Nari put a star map on his desk screen. This is the Sol system. Our sun. Our planets. Our home. She highlighted several lines crossing through the area. These are hyperspace lanes, the fastest routes between major sectors of the galaxy. Taman leaned forward. I do not understand. Earth sits at the center of 7 major hyperspace routes. Any species that controls our system can cut travel time across the galaxy by half. We are not just a primitive planet to them, Captain. We are the most valuable real estate in this entire region of space. They want our home. They have always wanted it. But they could not just take it. Council law forbids claiming inhabited planets. So they have been waiting for an excuse. Taman understood now. 73 years of insults and dismissals. It had never been about whether humans were smart enough or civilized enough. It had always been about finding a legal way to take Earth. Resolution 4477H, he said. What does it say? Nari's hands shook as she pulled up the document. It was passed 2 hours ago. In an emergency session. They did not even wait for us to leave the station. Taman read the resolution. Each word was worse than the last. Earth's observer status was cancelled. Humans were now classified as a pre-sapient species. Like animals that might become intelligent someday but were not intelligent yet. The Council would take control of the Sol system for humanity's own protection. All human ships had to be surrendered within 30 days. All human colonies outside Earth had to be abandoned. Earth's population would be relocated to other planets where the Council could watch them and educate them properly. They are taking everything, Taman said. Our ships. Our colonies. Our planet. There is more, Nari said. She showed him another file. I accessed the Council's military deployment orders. They are sending an education fleet to enforce the resolution. 500 ships. They will arrive at Earth in 42 days. 500 ships. The entire military might of a dozen alien species, coming to take humanity's home. What does Earth Command say? Nari asked. Taman showed her the message again. Operation Homecoming. I do not know what that means, she said. Neither do I. But we are about to find out. The meridian dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Immediately, alarms started blaring. The sensors showed impossible readings. Captain, the sensor officer shouted, I am detecting multiple contacts. Hundreds of them. No, thousands. Where? Taman demanded. Everywhere, sir. Around Earth. Around Mars. Around Jupiter. There are ships throughout the entire system. Taman rushed to the sensor station. What he saw made no sense. The screen showed thousands of ships. But these were not the simple vessels Earth was supposed to have. These were warships. Sleek and deadly. They moved in perfect formations. Their power signatures were off the charts. This is impossible, the sensor officer said. Where did these ships come from? Dr. Nari stared at the screen. Her scientific mind tried to understand. The energy readings. These ships are using technology that should not exist. 0-point reactors. Gravitational drives. This is centuries beyond what Earth is supposed to have. A message came through on the priority channel. Captain Taman. This is Earth Defense Command. Welcome home. Proceed to coordinates Alpha 7. You are expected. Taman ordered his crew to follow the coordinates. As the meridian moved deeper into the system, he saw more impossible things. Mars was not a simple colony. It was surrounded by massive shipyards and defense platforms. Europa was not a research station. It was a military base with weapon arrays that could destroy planets. Sir, his first officer said, I think we have been lied to. Not lied to, Taman said slowly. Protected from the truth, they arrived at the coordinates. A space station hung there, 10 times larger than anything Earth was supposed to have built. The meridian docked. And Taman went inside. A woman was waiting for him. She wore a black uniform with silver stars. Captain Taman. I am Director Minji. Welcome to Shadow Command. What is happening? Taman asked. The truth, Minji said. Come with me. She led him through corridors filled with people working at advanced computers. She brought him to a conference room with a window looking out at the fleet. Thousands of warships hung in space like sleeping predators. Admiral Yunho was already there. The old man smiled when he saw Taemin. "I suppose you have questions." "Many questions," Taemin said. Director Minji activated a hologram. It showed Earth 73 years ago, when the first Council ships had arrived. When we met the Council, we had a choice. We could show them our true capabilities, or we could hide them. We chose to hide. The hologram showed human leaders making the decision. They had seen how the Council treated weaker species. They had seen the arrogance and cruelty. So they made a plan. We showed them old rockets and simple fusion drives. Minji continued. We acted primitive and grateful. We followed their rules and accepted their insults. All while we built this. She gestured at the fleet outside. For 73 years? Taemin asked. We have been preparing for this day since the beginning. We knew they would never accept us as equals. We knew they would eventually try to take our home. So we prepared. Admiral Yunho stood up. I have spent 40 years bowing to those aliens. 40 years of smiling while they mocked us. Every insult, every dismissal, every moment of humiliation was part of the plan. We needed them to think we were weak. We needed them to underestimate us. Dr. Nari's research, Taemin said suddenly. The medical breakthroughs, the physics discoveries, all weapons development, Minji confirmed, disguised as civilian science. Dr. Nari has been working for Shadow Command her entire career. She just did not know it. Taemin thought about his crew, about all the humans who had suffered Council contempt for 73 years. How many people know the truth? Very few. Most of humanity believed we were really as weak as we appeared. It was the only way to make the deception work. And now? Now the Council has crossed the line. Resolution 4477H gives us the justification we needed. They are coming to take our home. So we will show them what humans are really capable of. Minji opened another file. It showed the Council's education fleet, 500 ships on their way to Earth. What will we do? Taemin asked. Admiral Yunho smiled. It was not a kind smile. We will teach them a lesson. Operation Homecoming means it is time for humanity to come home. Not as servants, not as observers, but as equals. The fleet will arrive in 42 days, Minji said. We have 42 days to prepare. Captain Taemin, you will command a squadron. Dr. Nari will lead our scientific warfare division. Everyone who has served in Council space will have a role. You know them. You have studied them. You know their weaknesses. Taemin looked at the warships outside. We are really going to fight the entire Council? Not the entire Council, Yunho said. Just the ones who come here. The ones who think they can take Earth without consequences. And then? Then we change the galaxy, Minji said. The Council has ruled through fear and arrogance for 10,000 years. It is time for something new. A message came through the communication system. It was being broadcast on all Council frequencies. The whole galaxy would hear it. Admiral Yunho's face appeared on screens across 1,000 worlds. His voice was calm but hard. People of the Galactic Council. For 73 years, Earth has stayed silent. We have followed your rules. We have accepted your judgments. We have endured your contempt. You mistook our patience for weakness. You mistook our silence for submission. Today, that ends. The broadcast showed the human fleet, thousands of warships that the Council did not know existed. You have declared that humans are not sapient, Yunho continued. You have decided to take our home. You have sent ships to enforce your will. We welcome them. Come to Earth. Come and teach us. We are eager students. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, aliens stared at their screens in shock. The weak humans had teeth. The primitive species had claws. The silent planet had finally spoken, and the galaxy would never be the same. Dr. Nari sat in a laboratory deep inside Shadow Command. Her hands moved across holographic displays, accessing files she had never known existed. Each file showed her work from the past 15 years, but the labels were different now. What she thought was cancer research was actually biological warfare analysis. What she thought was neural mapping was actually alien weakness identification. Her entire career had been a carefully constructed lie. "How do you feel?" Director Minji asked from the doorway. "Used," Nari said without looking up. "Manipulated. Angry. Very. Good. Use that anger. Channel it into the work ahead." Nari finally turned around. "You made me think I was helping people. Curing diseases. Saving lives. You were helping people. You were helping humanity prepare for this moment. Every alien species you studied, every biological system you mapped, all of it gave us the data we needed to defend ourselves. You should have told me. If we told you, you would have acted differently. The Council watches everyone who works in their space. If they suspected you were a spy, they would have killed you. Your genuine dedication to science protected you." Nari wanted to stay angry, but she understood the logic. "What do you need me to do now?" Minji activated a holographic display. It showed the 500 ships of the Council's education fleet. These ships represent 12 different species. Each species has different biology, different neural structures, different sensory systems. We need weapons that can affect them without killing them. Without killing them, they are coming to conquer us. "We are not trying to commit genocide," Minji said. "We are trying to prove a point. If we slaughter them, we become what they think we are: violent primitives. If we defeat them without excessive bloodshed, we show them something they have never seen before: restraint with power." Nari looked at the data. "It is possible. I can create frequency weapons tuned to specific neural patterns. Disable their crews without destroying their ships, but it will take time. You have 38 days. That is not enough time. It will have to be." Across the station, Captain Taemin was in a simulation room with 50 other captains. Commander Sunwoo stood at the front, explaining the battle plan. Sunwoo was younger than Taemin, but had more combat experience. He had been training in secret for 20 years. "The Council fleet will arrive in formation," Sunwoo said. The hologram showed the enemy ships arranged in a standard Council attack pattern. "They expect primitive resistance. Missiles and kinetic weapons. They will not expect what we have prepared." The hologram changed to show human ships using gravity manipulation. They created invisible traps in space, bending gravity itself into weapons. "Our ships can do that?" one captain asked. "Our ships can do things the Council has not even imagined," Sunwoo replied. "While they spent 10,000 years being comfortable and safe, we spent 73 years innovating and adapting. Earth has always been good at one thing: we learn from our enemies, and we improve." Taemin studied the tactics. They were unlike anything taught in Council military doctrine. Human strategy came from centuries of warfare on Earth. Deception, misdirection, overwhelming force applied at precise moments. The Council fought according to rigid rules and traditions. Humanity fought to win. "What about their numbers?" another captain asked. 500 ships against our fleet. Even with better technology, they have more firepower. "Numbers mean nothing if you cannot hit your target," Sunwoo said. "Our drives can accelerate and turn faster than theirs. Our weapons operate on principles they do not understand. And most importantly, they are overconfident. They think this will be easy. That overconfidence is our greatest weapon." The simulation began. Human ships faced off against Council vessels. Taemin watched his fellow captains make mistakes, get destroyed, learn, and adapt. By the 10th simulation, they were winning. By the 20th, they were winning without losses. "Again," Sunwoo ordered. "Faster this time. Better coordination. The Council crews have been fighting together for centuries. We have been training for weeks. We cannot make any mistakes." Meanwhile, in the shipyards around Mars, workers were building new weapons. A young engineer named Jinho was overseeing the installation of quantum entanglement communicators on every ship in the fleet. "Why do we need these?" his assistant asked. "We already have regular communication systems. These are instant, Jinho explained. No delay, no matter how far apart we are. When the battle starts, every ship in our fleet will share data in real time. We will think as one mind. The Council ships communicate with radio waves. There is delay. There is confusion. We will have perfect coordination. The assistant looked worried. The Council has been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have never fought a space battle before. That is why we will win, Jinho said. They know one way to fight. We know every way to fight. Every battle Earth has ever fought. Every strategy. Every tactic, we have studied it all. And adapted it for space. They are fighting with ancient doctrine. We are fighting with everything humanity has ever learned about warfare. Back on Earth, billions of people watched news broadcasts explaining the truth. The government had finally told everyone about the secret fleet, the hidden technology, the 73-year deception. Reactions were mixed. Some people were angry about the lies. Some were proud. Most were scared. A reporter interviewed an old woman in Seoul. How do you feel knowing our government has been lying to us for 73 years? The woman thought for a moment. My grandfather was alive when the Council first came. He said they looked at us like we were insects. He said we needed to be careful. I think our leaders were careful. I think they protected us the only way they could. Are you afraid of the coming battle? Yes. But I am more afraid of what happens if we lose. The Council wants to take our children and teach them to forget they are human. They want to scatter us across the galaxy. They want to erase Earth, so I am afraid, but I support the fight. Similar conversations happened all over Earth. Fear mixed with determination. Nobody wanted war, but nobody wanted slavery either. Admiral Yunho addressed the planet from Shadow Command. His face was broadcast to every screen, every device, every person on Earth. I know you are scared. I am scared too. For 40 years, I have represented you to the Council. For 40 years, I smiled while they insulted us. I bowed while they dismissed us. I acted weak while they mocked us. Every moment was difficult. Every day, I wanted to tell them the truth. But I stayed silent, because I knew this day would come. He gestured to the window behind him. The massive fleet hung in space. 73 years ago, when the Council found us, we made a choice. We could fight them immediately and lose, or we could prepare and fight them later with a chance of winning. Our leaders chose the difficult path. They chose patience over pride. They chose strategy over emotion. And now, after 73 years, we are ready. The Council is sending ships to take our home. We will show them that home is not something they can just take. We will show them that humanity is not primitive or weak. We will show them that silence does not mean surrender. It means we were listening, learning, and preparing. In 38 days, the Council fleet will arrive. We will meet them. We will fight them. And we will win. Not because we hate them, but because we love our home more than they could ever understand. The broadcast ended. Across Earth, people looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, 500 alien warships were coming. But Earth was ready. Dr. Nari worked through the night, developing her frequency weapons. Captain Taemin trained in simulations until his hands ached. Commander Sunwoo coordinated fleet movements with thousands of ships. Engineer Jinho installed the last communication systems. Director Minji monitored everything, adjusting plans, solving problems, preparing for every possibility. 20 days before the battle, the Council sent a message. The Vrin hegemon appeared on all channels. Humanity, you have revealed hidden military assets. This changes nothing. The resolution stands. You will surrender your ships and evacuate your colonies. If you resist, you will be destroyed. This is your final warning. 2. Admiral Yunho sent a reply. Thank you for the warning. We will be ready when you arrive. 10 days before the battle, scouts detected the Council fleet approaching. 500 ships, just as predicted. They moved in perfect formation, confident and unstoppable. 5 days before the battle, Dr. Nari completed her frequency weapons. Every ship in the human fleet was equipped. They could disable alien crews without destroying ships. 1 day before the battle, Captain Taman stood on the bridge of his ship. Around him, his crew made final preparations. These were people he had served with for years. They had all suffered council contempt together. Now they would fight together. "Are you scared?" his first officer asked. "Terrified," Taman admitted. "Good. Fear keeps us sharp. What if we lose? Then we lose fighting for our home. That is better than living as slaves." Taman looked at Earth on the view screen. The blue planet that had given birth to humanity. 73 years ago, they had seemed so small and helpless. Now they were anything but helpless. "Tomorrow," he said. "Tomorrow changes everything." Across the human fleet, thousands of crews made the same preparations. They checked weapons. They reviewed tactics. They said goodbye to loved ones. They prepared to defend their home against an enemy that thought them primitive. The galaxy was about to learn a hard lesson. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Never mistake patience for weakness. And never, ever threaten a human's home. The Council fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. 500 warships appeared in perfect formation. Each ship was massive, built by civilizations thousands of years old. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their shields could withstand anything the Council had ever faced. Admiral Vex of the Vryn Empire stood on the bridge of the flagship. He had fought in 100 battles across the galaxy. He had crushed rebellions and conquered primitive worlds. This would be easy. Humans were barely capable of space travel. They would surrender within hours. "Scan the system," he ordered. The sensors activated. What they found made no sense. "Admiral, I am detecting thousands of ships," the sensor officer reported. "Human ships. They are everywhere." "Impossible. Earth has less than 50 vessels. The readings are confirmed, sir. Thousands of ships. All armed. Power signatures are." "Admiral, these readings cannot be correct. These ships are using technology more advanced than ours." Vex stared at the display. The humans had lied. For 73 years, they had hidden their true strength. His confidence wavered for a moment, then returned. Numbers and technology meant nothing without experience. His fleet had fought for millennia. What did humans know about war? "Send the ultimatum," he ordered. The message broadcast across all frequencies. "This is Admiral Vex of the Galactic Council Education Fleet. You are in violation of Resolution 4477H. Power down your vessels and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will be met with overwhelming force." Captain Taman heard the message on his ship's bridge. Around him, his crew waited for orders. He looked at the massive Council fleet on his screens. 500 ships against Earth's thousands, but the Council ships were battle-tested. His crew had only simulations. "All ships, hold position," Commander Sunwoo's voice came through on the quantum communicator. "Wait for my signal. Do not engage until I give the order." The human fleet waited. Thousands of ships hung in space, silent and still. Admiral Vex smiled. "They are afraid. Move the fleet forward. Begin boarding operations." The Council ships advanced into the Sol system. They moved in standard formation. Shields raised. Weapons ready. They expected easy victory. "Now," Sunwoo said quietly, everything happened at once. Human ships activated their gravitational drives. They did not move like normal spacecraft. They bent space itself, appearing in new positions instantly. One moment they were millions of kilometers away. The next moment they were surrounding the Council fleet. "What?" Admiral Vex started to say. The human ships fired, but not with lasers or missiles. They released pulses of gravitational energy that wrapped around Council vessels like invisible chains. The Council ships tried to move but could not. Gravity itself held them in place. "Shields are holding," Vex's tactical officer reported. But we cannot move. We are caught in some kind of gravity trap. Break free. Use maximum thrust. The Council ships tried. Their engines strained. But human technology was 73 years ahead of what the Council knew. The gravity traps held firm. Begin Phase 2, Sun Wu ordered. Doctor. Nari watched from Shadow Command as her frequency weapons activated. Every human ship began broadcasting carefully tuned neural disruption waves. The frequencies were specific to each alien species in the Council fleet. The waves passed through shields like they did not exist. They passed through ship hulls. They reached the crews inside. On the Council flagship, Admiral Vex suddenly felt dizzy. His vision blurred. His legs would not support him. Around him, his crew collapsed. Not dead. Not injured. Just unconscious. The frequency weapons had shut down their neural systems like turning off a light. Across the entire Council fleet, the same thing happened. Vryn warriors fell. Crystalline beings went dark. Floating jellyfish species drifted into sleep. Within minutes, every Council ship was disabled. The crews were alive but unconscious. The ships drifted helplessly in space. All Council vessels are disabled, Sun Wu reported. 0 casualties. 0 damage to their ships. Mission successful. On Earth, billions of people watched the battle on their screens. The fight had lasted less than 10 minutes. 500 Council warships. Defeated without a single shot. Fired in anger. Human technology had made the entire battle look easy. But Commander Sun Wu knew the truth. It was not easy. It was 73 years of preparation. It was careful planning and perfect execution. It was humanity's greatest minds working together to defend their home. Begin recovery operations, he ordered. Board their ships. Secure their crews. Treat them with respect. No violence unless absolutely necessary. Human Marines boarded the Council ships. They found unconscious aliens lying on their bridges. The Marines followed their orders. They moved the aliens to medical bays. They made sure they were comfortable and safe. They did not hurt anyone. Admiral Vex woke up hours later in a medical bay. Human doctors were checking his vital signs. His crew was around him, all alive, all being cared for. He tried to stand, but his body was still weak. A human approached. It was Captain Taman. Admiral Vex, how do you feel? Where am I? On your own ship. We are just making sure you are healthy. Vex looked around. His ship was captured. His fleet was captured. And the humans were treating him like a guest, not a prisoner. Because we are not monsters, Taman said. You came here to conquer us. We could have destroyed you. Instead, we showed mercy. We wanted you to understand something important. We are not primitive. We are not weak, but we are also not cruel. You have advanced technology. Where did it come from? We built it. While you spent 73 years insulting us and underestimating us, we spent 73 years learning and building. Every time you dismissed us as primitive, we added another ship to our fleet. Every time you laughed at us, we developed another weapon. You thought silence meant weakness. You were wrong. Taman activated a holographic display. It showed the history of human deception. The fake technology they had shown the Council. The real technology they had hidden. The 73-year plan. You lied, Vex said. We protected ourselves. You would have destroyed us if you knew the truth. So we hid the truth. Until we were strong enough to defend it. The Council will send more ships. We hope they do not. We hope they learn from this. But if they send more ships, we will disable those too. We can do this all day. We have enough ships, enough weapons, enough patience. Taman left the medical bay. Outside, human crews were already repairing the Council ships. They were preparing to send them home. Every alien crew would return alive and healthy, but they would return with a message. Admiral Yunho broadcast from Earth to the entire galaxy. His message reached every Council world. Every member species. every corner of known space. People of the Galactic Council, your fleet came to Earth to enforce your will. We have disabled every ship without killing a single crew member. We could have destroyed them. We chose mercy instead. The broadcast showed the captured Council fleet. 500 mighty warships, all disabled by a species the Council had considered primitive. For 73 years, you told us we were not sapient. You told us we were too primitive to matter. You told us we needed your guidance and your control. Today, we showed you the truth. We are not primitive. We are patient. We are not weak. We are careful. We are not your servants. We are your equals. We are returning your fleet. Every ship, every crew member, all alive and unharmed. We do this to prove that we are civilized, that we are better than you thought, that we deserve respect, not because we can destroy you, but because we choose not to. The old Council ruled through fear and force. We are offering something new, an alliance of equals. A galaxy where species are judged by their character, not their age or their military power. Join us in building this new future, or stand aside. But know this, the age of underestimating humanity is over. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens watched in shock. The impossible had happened. A primitive species had defeated a Council fleet without bloodshed. Young species everywhere suddenly had hope. If humans could stand up to the Council, maybe they could too. On the Council homeworlds, panic spread. The Vrin hegemon called emergency sessions. Other species demanded explanations. How had Earth hidden such capabilities? How had the Council's intelligence failed so completely? Why had they provoked a species they did not understand? Some Council members were angry and wanted revenge. But others were afraid. If humans could disable 500 ships in 10 minutes, what else could they do? How many more secrets did Earth have? Commander Sunwoo met with his captains after the battle. They had won without losing a single ship or crew member. It was a perfect victory. But Sunwoo knew the hard part was just beginning. This was easy compared to what comes next, he told them. We proved we can fight. Now we have to prove we can lead. The galaxy is watching. Some species will want to join us. Others will want to destroy us. We have to be ready for both. Captain Taman stood at the window of his ship, looking at Earth. The blue planet that had seemed so vulnerable 73 years ago. Now it was the center of a new power in the galaxy. Dr. Nari reviewed the data from her frequency weapons. They had worked perfectly. Every species had been affected exactly as predicted. Her research, her years of work, had saved countless lives, including the lives of the enemies who came to conquer her home. Director Minji watched all the reports coming in from across the galaxy. The Council was in chaos. Young species were celebrating. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, new threats were watching. Earth had revealed itself. Now everyone knew humans were powerful. Some would want to be friends. Others would want to destroy them before they got stronger. We won the battle, she said to Admiral Yunho. But the war is just beginning. Then we fight it, Yunho replied. The same way we won today, with patience, with strategy, with the strength to defend ourselves, and the wisdom to show mercy. The Council fleet was repaired and sent home. Every crew member was returned safe. Every ship was intact. The message was clear. Earth could destroy you, but Earth chooses peace. Not because Earth is weak, but because Earth is strong enough to choose. The galaxy would remember this day. The day the silent planet spoke. The day humanity showed the Council what true power looked like. Not the power to destroy, but the power to protect. Not the power to conquer, but the power to change. And everything was about to change. 3 months after the Battle of Saturn, Captain Taman walked through Unity Prime Station again. But everything was different now. Aliens no longer ignored him. Some stared with fear. Others with respect. A few even nodded in greeting. The station itself had changed. The Council chamber where he had sat in silence for 12 years was being rebuilt. The old seating arrangement with humans at the very top was gone. The new chamber would have no hierarchy. Every species would sit as equals. Admiral Yunho met him at the entrance. The old man looked younger somehow. The weight of 40 years of humiliation had lifted from his shoulders. "Ready for the first session?" he asked. "I still cannot believe they agreed to this," Taman said. "They had no choice. After we defeated their fleet without killing anyone, 70 species demanded change. The old council could not ignore that many voices. They entered the new chamber together. It was circular, with seats arranged in rings. No one sat higher than anyone else. Representatives from 300 species filled the room. Some were old council members. Some were species that had been oppressed for centuries. And some were new civilizations that had just joined. The Vrin hegemon was there too. The crystalline being that had once dismissed humans as barely sentient now sat quietly in a middle row. Defeat had taught it humility. Director Minji called the meeting to order. She had been elected as the temporary coordinator until permanent leadership could be established. "This is the first session of the Sol Alliance. We are here to discuss a new framework for galactic cooperation." A young alien from a species called the Tolan stood up. They had been conquered by the Council 200 years ago and forced to serve as laborers. The old Council treated us like slaves. They took our resources and gave us nothing. Will the Sol Alliance be different? Admiral Yunho stood to answer. The Sol Alliance is built on a simple principle. No species is more valuable than another. Age does not grant authority. Military power does not grant control. Every member has an equal voice. Every member receives equal respect. "And if we disagree?" an older species asked. "What if some species want the old ways? Then they are free to leave," Yunho said. "We will not force anyone to join. But we will not allow oppression either. Any species in the alliance that tries to dominate another will face consequences." "Consequences? You mean military action? How is that different from the old council?" Dr. Nari stood up to answer. She had been studying galactic politics for months, preparing for this moment. "The difference is transparency. The old council made decisions in secret. They enforced rules they never explained. The Sol Alliance will operate openly. All decisions will be debated publicly. All enforcement actions will be justified and limited. We are not trying to rule the galaxy. We are trying to protect the freedom of every species in it." The debate continued for hours. Species raised concerns. Humans answered. Compromises were made. Slowly, a framework emerged. The Sol Accords, as they came to be called, established several key principles. First, every species had the right to develop at their own pace without interference. Second, trade and cultural exchange would be encouraged but never forced. Third, military conflicts would be mediated before force was used. And fourth, any species could join or leave the alliance freely. "What about technology sharing?" someone asked. "Earth has advanced weapons and drives. Will you share them?" Commander Sunwoo answered this one. "We will share defensive technology with any alliance member who wants it. Drive systems, shield technology, medical advances, all free. But weapons technology will only be shared with species that agree to use it for defense, not conquest." "How will you enforce that?" "We will not enforce it. We will trust you. If that trust is broken, the consequences will be removal from the alliance. We believe most species want peace. The old council believed everyone wanted power. That is the fundamental difference." An unexpected voice spoke up. Admiral Vex of the Vrin Empire stood, the same alien who had led the fleet against Earth 3 months ago. "I fought against humanity. I thought they were primitive and weak. I was wrong. They defeated my fleet without killing anyone. They had the power to destroy us but chose mercy instead. That showed me something I had forgotten in 10,000 years of Vrin history. True strength is not the ability to destroy. It is the wisdom to build." The room went silent. Vex continued. "The Vrin Empire will join the Sol Alliance. We will share our knowledge freely. We will learn from humanity what we should have learned millennia ago. Pride is not the same as honor. Age is not the same as wisdom. We were wrong, and we admit it. Other species began to speak up. The crystalline beings agreed to join. The floating jellyfish species agreed. Even species that had been council members for thousands of years agreed. The old system had failed. The galaxy was ready for something new. By the end of the first session, 212 species had signed the Soul Accords. 85 species chose to remain independent, but agreed to respect Alliance territory. Only 12 species rejected the new order entirely and left to form their own federation. Captain Taman was promoted to admiral and given command of the Soul Defense Fleet. His job was not to conquer or police. It was to protect Alliance members from external threats and to help resolve conflicts peacefully. His first mission came 2 months later. A species called the Krell were attacking Tolan colonies, taking resources and enslaving the population. The old council had ignored Tolan pleas for help because the Tolan were considered unimportant. Taman took a fleet of 50 ships to the Krell system. The Krell had 300 warships and laughed at his small force. "You cannot stop us," the Krell commander said. "Leave now, or be destroyed." "We will give you one chance to withdraw peacefully," Taman replied. "Stop attacking the Tolan. Return what you have taken. Join the Alliance and follow its rules. And if we refuse, then we will stop you." The Krell attacked, their 300 ships against Taman's 50. It was over in minutes. Human gravity traps immobilized the Krell fleet. Frequency weapons disabled their crews. Not one Krell died. Not one ship was destroyed. But their entire fleet was captured. Taman sent the same message Earth had sent to the Council. "We could have killed you. We chose mercy. Learn from this. Change your ways. Join us in building a better galaxy." The Krell, humbled and defeated, agreed to join the Alliance. They freed the Tolan slaves. They returned stolen resources. They learned the same lesson the Council had learned. Humanity would fight when necessary, but humanity preferred peace. Dr. Nari became the head of the Alliance Scientific Council. Her job was to coordinate research between species and share knowledge freely. She established programs where scientists from different worlds could work together. Vrin crystallographers taught humans about energy manipulation. Humans taught aliens about genetic medicine. The Tolan shared their knowledge of agriculture. Within a year, the Alliance made more scientific progress than the old Council had made in a century. When knowledge was shared freely instead of hoarded, everyone benefited. Director Minji stepped back from leadership once the Alliance was stable. She had spent her career in shadows, building secret fleets and hiding the truth. Now she wanted to be honest. She became an advisor, helping new species integrate into the Alliance and teaching them what Earth had learned about patience and strategy. Admiral Yunho retired after 50 years of service. He went back to Earth and wrote a book about his experiences. It was called The Long Game: How Humanity Survived by Staying Silent. The book became required reading for diplomats across the Alliance. It taught them that sometimes the best strategy is to wait, watch, and prepare. On the day of his retirement ceremony, Yunho stood before a crowd of thousands, humans and aliens together. 40 years ago, I started representing Earth to the Council. They mocked us. They dismissed us. They treated us like primitive children. Every insult hurt. Every dismissal made me angry, but I stayed silent because I knew the truth. I knew Earth was preparing. I knew our day would come. Today, I retire not as a representative of a weak species begging for acceptance, but as a citizen of the most powerful alliance in the galaxy. We built this power not through conquest, but through patience, not through fear, but through respect. We changed the galaxy not by destroying the old order, but by offering something better. To the young people watching this, I have one piece of advice. Never let others define your worth. Never accept their judgments as truth. And never, ever underestimate the power of staying silent while you prepare. The galaxy thought we were weak because we did not boast. They learned too late that silence can hide strength. 5 years after the Battle of Saturn, the Soul Alliance had grown to over 400 member species. The old Galactic Council still existed. but it was a shadow of its former self. Most of its members had joined the alliance. The few that remained were isolated and weakening. Captain Taman, now Fleet Admiral, stood on a command ship overlooking a newly discovered region of space. His fleet was exploring territory the Council had never reached. They were meeting new species and inviting them to join the alliance. A message came in from an unknown source, a species that had been hiding from the galaxy for millennia. They had watched the Battle of Saturn. They had seen Earth's restraint and mercy. Now they wanted to make contact. "This is the beginning," Taman said to his crew. "The galaxy is bigger than we thought. There are more species out there, more friends to make, more threats to face. But we are ready." Dr. Nari sent him a report from her research teams. They had discovered new physics that could revolutionize space travel. The knowledge came from combining human creativity with Vrin experience and Tolan agricultural insights. 3 species working together had achieved what none could alone. "The alliance is working," she wrote in her report. "Species are sharing knowledge instead of hoarding it. We are solving problems together. This is what the galaxy should have been all along." Commander Sun Wu, now in charge of Alliance military training, was teaching young officers from 100 different species. He taught them human tactics, but also listened to their ideas. War strategies from species that had been fighting for millions of years. Combined with human innovation, the Alliance military became unstoppable. Not because they wanted to conquer, but because they wanted to protect. Earth itself had become the heart of the Alliance. Not because humans demanded it, but because other species chose it. Earth was where the first truly equal galactic government had been formed. Earth was where species came to learn about cooperation and respect. Children on Earth grew up in a different world than their grandparents. They played with alien friends. They learned languages from across the galaxy. They studied science and culture from thousands of worlds. The future was limitless. In the old council chamber on Unity Prime, now converted into a museum, a plaque hung on the wall. It showed the date of the Battle of Saturn, and a simple message. On this day, humanity taught the galaxy that silence is not weakness. Patience is not submission. And true strength comes not from the power to destroy, but from the wisdom to build. Admiral Yunho, now 90 years old, visited the museum with his grandchildren. They looked at displays showing the 73 years of human silence. The insults, the dismissals, the long, patient wait. "Why did we wait so long?" his grandson asked. "Why did we not fight back sooner?" "Because we were not ready," Yunho explained. "If we had fought when we were weak, we would have lost. If we had revealed our strength too early, they would have destroyed us. We waited until the perfect moment. We waited until we were strong enough to win and wise enough to show mercy. Will there be more wars? Probably. The galaxy is vast. There will always be species that want to dominate others. But now we are ready. And we are not alone. We have allies. We have friends. We have an alliance built on respect, not fear." The boy looked at the displays showing human ships defeating the Council fleet. "We are the strongest now." "Yes, and that is why we must be the most careful. Power without wisdom is dangerous. The old Council had power and used it to oppress. We have power and must use it to protect. Never forget that lesson. Never become what we fought against." Across the galaxy, on hundreds of worlds, children learned about Earth. The planet that stayed silent for 73 years. The species that chose patience over pride. The people who changed the galaxy not through conquest, but through offering something better. And in the darkness between the stars, humanity's ships continued to explore. Meeting new species, solving new problems, building new friendships.